So America has got a giant problem. The Constitution was created for us, by us, as a rock solid foundation of laws and rules that cannot be changed by politicians just willy-nilly. They come in and decide they want to change whatever they want. The problem we have is that our government over the last 150 years, but really in the last 70 years, has been slowly transformed by politicians. They've been pushing and driving this agenda to change and really to eliminate this Constitution. And it has gotten so corrupt on both sides, it's to the point where it really is almost impossible to fix. It would take 1 million or so people to just go march up onto the steps of Capitol Hill or up to the White House and demand that things like term limits are put on for senators, congressmen, that they can't accept money from outside sources. These people funding the politicians they have bought our government, and it's just being driven by a small handful of people that own all these corporations, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop before it implodes, because those are the only choices we have. It's either going to implode on itself and we're going to plunge into civil war, or the country's just going to get wiped out internally, and then we're going to have to start all over again, or we're going to march up onto Washington and force it to be changed. Because we need to go, these politicians, there need to be severe punishments for the laws they break. I mean, and not to pick on any one politician, but take President Obama in 2008 when the housing industry collapsed. The bankers did all that. They set all that crap up with those subprime loans and made it real easy to get a loan for people that couldn't pay them. And then when it came time to call in all that, and then the people had to couldn't pay their mortgages, what does our government do? They give all these banks that say, oh, we're going to collapse, we're too big to collapse, you have to give us money. We give them money to bail them out, and then Obama allows them to boot 5 million people basically out of their houses, allows them to foreclose on these houses, and then turn around and resell the houses. Instead of taking that money that we gave to the banks to bail them out and giving it to the people, the citizens, and letting them pay their mortgage, and then that keeps them in their house and it keeps the banks from collapsing. So instead of doing that, they just go the other route. Well, that's ridiculous. That kind of stuff's got to stop. So people have got to start forcing the politicians. Another thing is, these politicians that spend all this time in Washington, they don't want to come back and deal with the people in their home states. Well, these federal employees need to stop being paid by the federal government. They need to start being paid by the states. We need to pay our congressmen and our senators, so they have to come back here to get their damn paycheck and answer for what they've done. There's a jillion other things that we need to do, but we need to take control of our country again. We need to get the government and strip it down and strip all this crap away from it and get basically back to the Constitution the way it was written in the beginning, and start from almost zero again, and then write some basic laws and amend some of the stuff that we need amended. But we need to get back to the basics. You know, in the beginning, to go be a senator or a congressman, it was kind of like doing jury duty. It wasn't something you wanted to do, but it was like something you felt driven to do as a patriot. But now it's just all these people getting rich, and it's insane. I can't remember which president it was, but it was one of them back in like the 40s or 50s, said that if you get rich while you're a politician, then you're doing it illegally and you're a criminal. And that's true. You shouldn't be able to get rich being a politician. And people like Nancy Pelosi, or you know, there's a jillion of them that start out, you know, that they aren't rich, and then they end up being lifelong politicians and make $1 jillion in the time they're in office, while we all suffer. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, you know, Maxine Waters, she represents a district that she doesn't even live in. How the hell's that? How the hell can you represent a group of people and you don't even live in that district? So we need to stop all that shit. We need to pull the reins and put the brakes on this. And these people need to be stopped, because what's going to happen if they have their way, they're going to end up destroying freedom of speech. Then they're going to destroy the Second Amendment. And then once we don't have control of our own guns, that's when they're going to start taking over. They're going to just come in and do what they want. That's the one thing that has kept us free for all this time, is the fact that out of the 350 million people that live in the United States, 150 million of us, at least 150 million of us, have guns. And, you know, it only takes, I think they say 3 to 5% of a country to overthrow it or to control it or whatever. So we only need a couple million, because our army, there's only like 1 million or 2 million people in our army or whatever. So if 5 million U.S. citizens showed up in Washington with their guns, we can just, you know, change it. So, you know, I'm not saying march on Washington with a bunch of guns, but I'm just saying that it doesn't take the whole country to get change to happen. It only takes a very small percent. But a very small percent of us need to speak out, and we need to do it all together, because they're not listening. So we need to like all call on the phone at once, or all march up like the Million Man march up to Washington and demand that these politicians change the laws so that they can't just govern themselves and take what they want from us. It's ridiculous. Anyway, have a good day. If you have any comments, you know, shoot them at me. I'm glad to listen. I want to hear everyone's view on this, and let me know. And if you can, subscribe or whatever. I just started doing this, and I'm going to try and put out some more content, but if you're interested, let me know. Thanks.